Hey guys, Jamie, Jeremy, Marina, and Ilaria, and welcome to a special Christmas edition of The Dirt.
Yeah, we thought we'd take a little break from the build. We've been working quite a bit and just talk a little bit about some of our favorite things that we've seen and done since moving here.
So for those of you guys that are new to the channel, The Dirt's where we share a little bit about why we do what we do, why we think what we think, and I thought it'd be really awesome to kind of go through and share with you guys each of our most memorable moments since moving here, which is off-grid in North Carolina, Appalachia. 2 years ago in November, we're now entering our third Christmas living off-grid.
Today's Christmas Eve, our third Christmas here.
Yeah. So I've prepped everyone and said, think of your most memorable moment. We'll kind of sort of discuss it, but neither of us has shared it with each other. So I think it'd be interesting to see what everyone comes up with. Like, when you think back in the last 2 years of living here, what do you think of? And Marina, you go first.
Ozzy. He was the best and the worst thing that has ever happened in my experience here. Like, I'd wake up every morning and I would just hear him crowing, and Mom would always say like he was calling for you, because he'd always flog me and I'd always pick him up. And probably one of my favorite moments was when he flogged me. I picked him up by his legs and I flipped him over like this, and I chased my sister around the yard with him.
For those of you who don't know, Ozzy was our first rooster, and he was crazy.
We were trying to tough it out with him. You know, we really wanted to keep a rooster, and he was probably the worst of the worst roosters you could possibly ever have. He was just incredibly aggressive, and yeah, finally we replaced him.
Yeah, he went into the pressure cooker and made a nice dinner.
He was recycled. Yeah.
But yeah, Ozzy.
Ozzy was definitely a memorable moment.
Well, and since then we've had Blackberry and now Blackberry 2.0 and better roosters.
Yeah, and we had that Polish one for a little while, but he got aggressive real quick, and
yeah,
he was cold. Yeah. What about you, Laurie?
I liked getting into the pigs because that was a really experiencing thing, and I liked doing that. And we got into more of variety of animals and chickens. I liked that.
So you liked the pigs?
Yes.
What did you like about the pigs?
I don't know. They were just like really cute, and if you like scratch their stomachs, they just like roll over on the ground.
Yeah. They were pretty cool.
They were really cool. They were they ended up being an interesting experiment for us, and I think we might potentially get into pigs at some other point in the future, but not until we have the proper pasture for them. It got to be a little bit complicated moving the fencing around, and in particular the hut, because that hut was probably a good 120 pounds or so, and I was dragging it from one area to the other myself, and that was not fun. It was very
we were trying to rotate their pasture quite a bit, and we just didn't have enough area set up to do that. And we ended up actually getting lucky. We didn't have to overwinter them or process them. We found someone who wanted them.
Yep.
And they ended up giving us pretty much what we would have made had we processed them and sold the meat like we intended to. So we got lucky and didn't have to do any of that. And they just took them. So that's what ended up happening to the pigs.
What about you? What's your most memorable moment?
My most memorable moment? Well, let's see. My best memory, I think, was when we first moved here and kind of did the tour of the property and made that video. That was really cool, because there are a lot of beautiful parts of this property. It's kind of like you're in multiple properties, because there's different, there's a lot of pine over here, so that pine forest is kind of like its own little area, and then there's a field down here, and then there's some hardwood over here, and there's of course mountains and
a couple cleared areas.
Yeah, and I'd say the other good thing that has happened, good memory, is meeting all the people here that are like-minded, we've ended up with some really good neighbors.
You stole mine. That's exactly what I was going to say
sorry.
too. See, you took two good memories and you stole mine.
Sorry, but that has been a huge deal for us, because if we were out here trying to do this just on our own, it would be 10 times more difficult. So that's a saving grace for me, especially while we're trying to build and move all these heavy materials and get all the stuff done. our neighbors are great at helping out, and we help them out, and it kind of works out really good. So we just make a list of our projects and say, all right, we'll work on this one for you for a couple hours, and we'll go do this, and we'll go move that or whatever. It works out great. So
Yeah, he stole my most memorable moment. I was going to say that it was the difference in people, the type of people that live out here, because everyone really has each other's back out here, and it's the salt of the earth people are who you're going to meet out here. Everyone, for the most part, is out to help each other in one way or another, and that was definitely a very, very good experience for us moving out here. Just seeing that there's really good people out there, and people that we can reciprocate help with. And
Yeah.
So I'd have to really strongly agree with that one.
Well, I guess it's an important thing for us because it's so different from where we came from. Where you didn't have neighbors that really ever talked to you or acknowledged you, or that's kind of the way it is in suburbia. So
Yeah.
it's not like that out in the hills. Everybody takes care of each other, so it's great.
All right, so that means I need to come up with another one then.
I have another one.
You have another one? Go ahead, you go first.
I liked when, going down to the creek in, the springtime and, just sitting in the creek and then putting up the zip line. That was really fun. And then I think it was last winter when we went up to the neighbors with their kids, and then we all went, me and my sister went sledding down the hill, and I almost crashed into a tree. That was really fun.
Yeah, they have a really big, long hill, and we got some decent snow last year.
Yeah, well, we have a really big hill now behind us. This will be one heck of a sled riding hill.
Yeah.
Might get stuck in the trees at the bottom until they decay, but
Yeah.
we're going to have some good sled riding up here if we ever get snow. But right now it's
Yeah.
December 24th and it's 65 degrees.
It's really hot.
Luckily, because we need this to dry out a little bit because it's kind of muddy from all the rain we've had, and now we're trying to get our subfloor started. So if we can get that done, and then we can protect the bottom from getting wet and let it dry out, and maybe we'll get to a point where we can kind of breathe. But
All right, so I have to come up with another one.
you have to come up with another one.
And I would have to say the second thing that I think about when I think back on the last couple of years of living out here would be when we first moved out here, just how snug and close we were, living in a tiny trailer, and how we don't have a kitchen table, and we only have a 2-seater love couch that's the only seating in the house other than the floor or the beds, and we were kind of we're all kind of forced to be together, and I would say our last house wasn't overly massive, but it was big enough where everyone could go to their own rooms and have their own space. And because of that, everyone kind of checks out and nobody really talks to each other. And when we first moved out here, we were kind of forced to all kind of hang out around the fire to get warm, and just to talk, and not having a lot of electricity. We had the headlamps, and I think we really got pretty close there. And as things unfolded throughout the first year, and we ran into a lot of problems that had occurred, like frozen water pipes, and unable to take a shower, and the electricity not working, not being able to run the refrigerator, and stuff like that. I think we really pulled together as a family, and really shown our strengths, and how we can when things are going wrong, how we can pull together as a family and really attack a problem and get through it. And that, I think, is a very, very memorable moment. And of course, since then, since things have gotten easier, we had the solar panels put up, and now we have, we have a reasonable amount of power. I wouldn't say unlimited, but we have a reasonable amount of power. We're kind of, going our separate ways. Everyone's on their devices now, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad in a way. I mean, I think it's good to have personal space, but when I think back on the very beginning, there was a time there where it was
We were in survival mode too a bit, but yeah, it was I like when we were huddling around the fire and
Fleas on a Dot.
Fleas on a Dot.
We were singing Merry Christmas songs, and that first
we
year.
made a video about that too
Yeah.
a couple years ago. Fleas on a Dot.
We had a lot of really vivid memories. I'm not going to say positive or negative, because even the negative
They were definitely memorable.
moments, even the negative moments, our roof broke last year, the frozen water pipes, during the summer he had to travel, and at that point the water, I wasn't able to get water, and I had to go pump it from neighbors and stuff, and I was in the middle of summer trying to feed animals and whatnot, and that was a really challenging time. We've had a lot of challenging moments, but they've all been very, very memorable, and I guess it's kind of like childbirth. You look back on some of the things, and they don't seem as bad looking back in hindsight, and they just become something to chuckle about in the future. So
Yeah, I think one big thing about that has helped us keep going is that we've been able to solve those challenges and address them and move forward. So things like the water problem, we finally got our well drilled so we have water. We're still using the spring, but we have a deep well that we can pull the water out of, and we do that for drinking and cooking now. So it's just baby steps, man. We got the new solar system put in, so we can run pretty much whatever we want. We run air conditioners, hair dryers, whatever we need to. We just have to be careful of how much we try to draw at once. But overall, we're making progress. It's just a little slower than I think we originally anticipated, because I think we bit off a lot more than we thought we were biting off. So come out here and start from scratch and
try to live a modern lifestyle, or have modern appliances and modern things that you're trying to do, but live it primitively without the right equipment.
I think it's been cool because we used to live a very modern lifestyle, and then we came out here to live
very primitive.
Living a very primitive lifestyle, so we could figure out where their boundaries were and what we were capable of doing and where our limits were. And now we're kind of coming back to center.
Not too extreme on either end.
Yeah, and we'll have the ability to kind of do whatever we need to do. If you lose power or if you lose water, we know how to deal with those things because we'll have backup systems, and we're much more educated about it now. So that's a pretty good, memorable benefit, I think.
Definitely.
So.
Did I miss anything, guys? I mean, there are a lot of memorable moments, but anything else in particular? Either one of you?
No.
No, I got them.
No.
Ice storms and hurricanes and all the other fun
Okay,
stuff.
but that did kind of look pretty. All the ice storms.
Yeah, it
Silver
was
line.
Scary, but it's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those trees were just
Coming over the
coming over
trailer.
the trailer with ice. Yeah.
Yeah, we had some pretty deep snow out here too, like
Yeah.
over our knees deep, which most people are like, that's nothing, that's all the time, but
That's big for North Carolina.
big for North
when you're
Carolina.
not used to it and you don't have equipment for it. So.
No. But so those are our most memorable moments. We hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, and we will catch you on the flip side, 2020. Right now we're putting up ledger boards for our house, and we're going to continue with the house build. And yeah, anything else?
That's it. We'll see you in the new year, and hope you all have a safe, happy one. See you then. Thanks
Merry
for watching.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Next year I'll have 20/20 vision.
Hor hor.